This is the review of 12th of June, which was yesterday. I was very excited, I would say, for the session. It was after a CPI, PPI was to be released today on 12th, and uh, the week didn't had very good moves, but I navigated it right, and I was hoping I would do very well today. Um, well, of course, it depends on what the market do, but I was of the idea that maybe we could see good move today. The session was not very good, I would say, even though, and I would say we broke some rules as well. So let's look at how and what actually happened when the market opened and we printed three bear bars. I was thinking whether we were going high since we opened with two bull bars, or is it reversing down, and then it reversed. I was not on board, and I did not found any opportunity to get on board. Now one can argue that you could have sold any of the close of the bear bars, but the stop of the 5-minute candle itself was more than 40 points, and I was hoping that maybe some retracement, or when we slow down a prior bar high opportunity to sell. I never got it, and then the market hit a support zone which is around 23,645, but it went a little lower, and then we tried to push more lower after three bear bars, and it failed. And if market fails to do something, it goes in the other direction. It started going higher, and I was of the idea that while this move was the continuation from what had been happening after the CPI and pre-CPI day, the sell-off. So we've hit a major support, and maybe we're going back up again. Uh, After this strong move up, even though this was not very strong, it was very indicative that we'll see a pullback. We did saw a pullback, and I bought a 15-minute prior bar low for a long entry with a 42 point stop, and this stop itself was very clear. This was the, if you look at 15-minute, or even if you look here, this was the high that we broke off. So either we're coming to retest, or this was the saved bar. uh, we might go below it or somewhere around it, and then we should reverse if this is the continuation. But we saw a very deep pullback uh, from the origination of the move itself. I got stopped out, and then we saw a move back up, with, and then this move also couldn't hold, even though it was strong. We started uh, drifting down, and then I thought either this is a range, and if this is a range, we might test the highs, or we're drifting down to 23,500 or so with them for a measured move down. I shorted, even though I would say this entry was very bad. If you look here, it was a good entry, buying below a prior bar with a 40 point stop. This is clearly, if you get stopped out, you're clearly wrong on the idea. But looking here, buying, selling, firstly neither on the prior bar highs, but uh, during the formation of the candle and even not waiting for the close. That was a wrong move, and I put this stop above the range high. I got stopped out, and this was, I would say, not a very good trade. I This stop itself was 70 points. Um, I I I got, I would say, pushed into, absorbed into this idea of selling, while uh, selling was not a very good thing to do here. Even if you feel that it was a good thing to do, and you see in a continuation which is an ABCD, I should have moved my stop. I did not. I broke some of my rules and I got punished for them. When we break higher, this, if you see this as an starting point A, B, C, and the D lag is very big, so you would want another leg up. That is why around the US Open I bought a prior bar low, but I was of the idea that this is the range high. We would see the range high only, so this is the opening high and the range high. I squared off my position. I got chickened out, but the reason why we went until this point was because this was the overnight high, and once we went above it, this is now a 3 leg up move which is complete, and you would see a sell off. Now I measured the retracements, and this was a clear retracement of what has happened before. So this is an harmonic retracement, but uh, you might feel that if this is a third leg up, you would see a two-legged pull back down. So measuring the entire move on A, B, C, D, and the breakout of the second leg is what I was hoping that would be the retest area. I bought right at the completion of an ABCD move. I put a very tight stop of 25 or 28 points. I got stopped out. Now clearly I've made mistakes. The first mistake is not moving my stop, selling on a bad signal bar. While this was an okay trade, it happened during the US hours, during the hours when I do not trade. So even this was a winner, I would say it was also not a good trade. I should have focused more on the Dow and the Nasdaq, on which I focused during the US hours. This is clearly me breaking the rules. I you will be punished when you break your rules, and I saw that me getting punished. I made some air, lost, made, and then I lost. uh, well, one thing is also very indicative is, if you start breaking your rules, you be very mindful about them, and once you've seen that you're breaking the rules, then you are quite off. You should take time off the screen. You should close the trading session, or you could do a lot of damage. While this damage was not very big, or uh, it was okayish, but breaking the rules, since uh, it's all about following the rules, is not acceptable. We've been trading very good the entire week. I do not want to break my rules. We'll make sure we do not do these things. uh, Looking at what happened during the USRs, the Dow opened with a weak bear bar. I mean, it's a strong bear bar, but the market overall seemed weak, while the DAX was climbing up, FTSE was climbing up. So surely I would not want to short the DAX, but short the Dow. But it 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 was not showing strength until when it started showing strength. I was waiting, uh, and then I kept on waiting for a prior bar low, which never came. And then we saw some pause here, and this was at two consecutive bear bars move down and on a strong trend. If you see a first retracement, it is generally bought up. So I bought this retracement here, went to the highs, came back down, uh, went below me. Since this was, I did not add it and it was a small position, I held it. This position, this stop was almost around 100 points. I was barely saved, uh, and then there was a sideways move and we came back. And now I was of the opinion that while initially I was hoping for a breakout, this is clearly not a sign where the market is showing strength. uh, this bar, if even if you look at this bar, it went above the prior high and then it closed inside the range. I stopped, basically closed, square off the position on the close of this candle. uh, and then when it went back up again and then it reversed back and I saw three continuous bear bars. uh, Even though it was not a very good sell signal, since these three bear bars are inside this 5-minute bar, I shorted it thinking that clearly this is not holding up. I got stopped out very quickly on the next bar and then I did not trade it the Dow. But later, I checked this morning, the market was clearly waiting for something. Even though we saw a move back up, it was not clearly showing any strength going forward in this session. And currently we are trading 600-700 points below the point where we were trading. So lucky that, I mean, it is clear from the session you would see the market not showing strength. You should be very careful on those days. Looking at the Nasdaq, while I did not bought the Dow, I was being very aware of what is happening in the Nasdaq was much more stronger than the Dow, so it was very clear you wanted to buy in the Nasdaq. Bought a prior bar low. This was a 15-minute low of the second 15-minute candle. I bought it, exited on the top end of the range of the 15-minute bar. Since Dow was also not showing much strength, I wanted to see strength, and when it continued, I bought again on a prior bar low, exited. Uh, Now, why did I exit it? There was no uh, place, as in it was neither a range high nor some an ABCD move or something. I just exited. I was not seeing much strength, even though there were three continuous bull bars. If you would see, after this bar failed to close above the high of the previous 5-minute bar, and even this bar, uh, even though it closed at the top end, you clearly see the momentum fading up, and I squared off my position. Later on, when we saw a retracement, I bought the retracement again around this area, uh, and then it went sideways. I closed the position. If you'd see, these are the three continuous bull bars, went above, failed to close or closed almost at the highs. Tried to went above for my micro double bottom, but double top, but so it was not showing strength. I exited my long, and on a close of this bar I shorted it. Now this was also not a right short. I, even though if you'd see, I shorted the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq both, but uh, it was not a good short. But I had a tight stop, got stopped out, and I did not trade it. Nasdaq itself is trading 500 points below uh, from where it was trading yesterday. Now, while Nasdaq was much more stronger after the initial move, it was very clear we were failing to make new highs. Uh, and the market was clearly not having much strength. Even even after this sell off, we going all the way back up to the overnight range high, and then coming back down. I Even though I was thinking that since it might be very positive after, since in the second half we've clearly seen a good trend move, and a bull channel, maybe what we'd do is give it a retest of the highs and then we'd start to fall off. Never saw a retest. The one thing that is also clear is whenever you see a channel, bull channel like this, and then a breakout of the channel, generally you'd want for the market to retest the highs, and that is where maybe you would want to short it. That's a good probability setup to short when it comes back up again to test the highs, but it is never okay to bet against, in the sense that you'd want to buy since you believe it should come back for an retest. That's not a high probability trade, even though it coming back and then you shorting is plenty of learning, some breaking of the rules. Will be much more mindful. Also, I'm planning to do some uh, research work around uh, some some candles, as in some patterns, and then we'll continuously after each session see uh, what happened when those patterns formed, and then we'd track those, and then we'd start trading those patterns. I'll come back with these patterns maybe starting next week.